Hi everyone, this is Mr. Xiao, and we are going to be doing week 12 assignments, and I'm going to be talking about assignment number one. Before we get to that, just know due this coming week is going to be Unit 2 journal, and so we've covered about, I think, maybe 7 to 8 slides on the Unit 2 journals. We're only going to be grading two of the assignments on that, and so we're going to be looking at two very specific ones to make sure that all of them are complete so you can receive credit. We are not going to be continuing on with too many CNN 10, so for the extra CNN 10 slide, go ahead and delete that. And then turn in your journals. Make sure you have most of the assignments that we've had completed. So assignment number one. So here is assignment number one, and it's going to be about a video. It's a documentary about 55 minutes long. We are only going to be watching about 36 minutes of it. And we're going to be starting that in class. So we're going to be starting that on Zoom, and the movie is called Egalite for All, which means equality for all, and it's the story about the Haitian Revolution. So as we watch the documentary, you're going to be putting down notes, but there's going to be specific questions that will help you know what to write down and think about what is important and what events led to what people helped in this ending of slavery and one of the most successful or one of the only successful slave revolts of this time. Okay, and so let's go ahead and go to the movie notes, and the movie notes also actually has the link to the movie. Okay, and so if you click on here, the movie Equality for All will be there. And again, Haitian Revolution was probably one of the first Latin American revolutions in America. It was also where they were able to finally abolish slavery, and it talks about a man named Toussaint Louverture. Okay, and he is a freed black slave that became a military leader and um, was able to free Haitian or in that time it was called Dominique and allow for the freedom and the equality that all members and colonists and slaves of that time were looking for. Okay, so we're going to be looking at several questions. So the questions are actually here on the side, and they actually have timestamps, meaning that it'll tell you exactly where and what time you could be finding those kind of questions. So make sure that as we watch, you pay attention to 5 minutes and 33 seconds in about why Saint Domingue, Dominique, excuse me, or Haitian was significant during the 1800s. Okay, and then what did that lead to? Okay, because of its importance, there were some evils that the French ignored because of what they needed. And so it's going to be talking about the reactions of slavery, colonists, and the ideas of the Enlightenment as we kind of watch this film. And so let me kind of bring that up. And so here's beginning of the film. It's a PBS. And so the movie is mainly about Toussaint. So make sure you pay attention when they mention him. And so again, for the questions, leave them on the left-hand side, and then you're going to write your answers here, okay? And if you could do it in complete sentences, in the 1800s was, and it was actually something that they did, or something that imported. Actually, sorry, something they exported. Again, remember that Saint Dominique was a colony of France, and it was on a little island. and half the island was controlled by France, while the other half was actually controlled by Spain. And so there was actually very two distinct governments, and again, very two distinct groups that were actually a part of those two factions. So each question is going to show you a timestamp. Pay attention to those times, and then make sure you read the question. How did landowners in Haiti react to the petition? And so there's actually a very specific petition we're going to be talking about, posed by the mixed races of Haiti. Okay. And so after watching the end of this, and we're going to be actually ending at probably 36 minutes in, where Santa Minga actually ends with abolishment of slavery. And then there's actually more, but that is not actually so relevant at this point to kind of talk about the Enlightenment and also to talk about the French Revolution. So after you read this, then we're going to be talking about the document analysis, which is also like a DBT. Okay, so document-based analysis. Think about what the analysis or the document is saying, and think about the purpose. And then the next two questions is going to be how is that related to the Enlightenment, or how is this connected to also the French Revolution? And because of what happened with France, it leads to many events that lead to the Haitian Revolution. And just keep that in mind. So as we watch, make sure you write down ideas. And of course, we could go back later and think about how that is similar to some of the events in the French Revolution. Okay. And thinking about how the riots start, or actually the revolution starts, think about how that actually is related to how it starts with the French. Um, and there's going to be elements in the document and the movie that actually talks about what France does that triggers some more events in the Haitian revolution. Okay, so just be mindful and make sure you pay attention to that. So those are the two boxes you need to fill out. One about key events, people, and answering the questions on the left-hand side. And then the third box, third column here, is going to be analyzing how the French Revolution could be connected and how people or events or ideas are triggered, okay, and how that affects Saint Domingue and or Haiti, okay, or Haiti, okay. All right, so if you have questions, we're going to be doing this in class on Zoom. So hopefully we will have a few examples and so practice for you. And then you could give more directed questions about where to find answers or how to relate this to the document on the bottom. All right, so if you have more questions after that, you could always email. Thank you for your time, guys. And I will see you when we go over this assignment.